In this video, I'll be talking about the sport I love, football, the beautiful game, or as many of you know it, soccer. More specifically, I'll be talking about the events that occurred on the 30th of July 1966, the day that England brought football home, the day that we won the World Cup. My dad would have been 2 years old at the time, but when he talks about it, he acts as if he was there in the front row at Wembley Stadium, as most English people do when reminiscing on the occasion. To give you an idea of the era, there were no multi-million pound players. Nobody had heard of an ACL injury. In fact, Manchester City goalkeeper Bert Trautmann had played an entire game with a broken neck a few years earlier. England got lucky. They won the bid to host the World Cup for the first time in the country's history, so had the benefit of a rowdy home crowd. But nonetheless, the odds were against them. They were to face the mighty West Germany, who already had one World Cup star above their crest. Both teams awoke the morning of the final with brimming with confidence. England having knocked out Argentina in the quarterfinals and Portugal in the semis, and West Germany having subsequently defeated Uruguay and the Soviet Union. Veteran BBC Sports reporter Stuart Hall reflected on the events of the day, saying, "They had parties, they had everything. The whole country was on fire. Some of these teams were at the peak of their powers. Every team had wonderful artists playing for them. It was before the decline of certain countries. The standard of football was exceptional. The most boring team in the competition until we got to the final was England." As Bobby Moore led his team out of the changing rooms onto the pitch, the roar of the home crowd, 97,000 strong, can only be imagined. 32.3 million British viewers sat and waited for the kickoff with bated breath, this making it the most watched television event in British history, by the way. After 12 minutes, Siegfried Held sent a cross into the English penalty area, which Ray Wilson misheaded to Helmut Haller, who got his shot on target. Jack Charlton and goalkeeper Gordon Banks failed to deal with the shot, which went in. 1-0 to West Germany. England rallied. In the 18th minute, Wolfgang Overath conceded a free kick. Bobby Moore stepped up and took it immediately, floating the cross into the West German area, where Geoff Hurst waited. He rose unchallenged and levelled the scores with a downward glancing header. The teams went into half-time interval level. 77 minutes in, England won a corner. Alan Ball delivered the ball on a tee. Geoff Hurst, whose deflective shot from the edge of the area found Martin Peters subsequently smashed the ball past the West German keeper from 8 yards out. 2-1 to England. 77 minutes in and the temperature was rising in Wembley Stadium. Germany pressed for an equaliser in the closing moments. England were moments away from victory and scrambling desperately in the 89th minute when Jack Charlton conceded a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. The kick was taken by Lothar Emmerich, who struck it into George Cohen, who was in the wall. The rebound fell to Held, who shot across the face of goal into the body of Karl-Heinz Schenlinger. The ball deflected across the England 6-yard box, wrong-footing the defence and the goalkeeper and allowing Wolfgang Weber to slam the loose ball into the net in the closing seconds. Devastation. The score was 2-2 and the match was forced into extra time. England could not rest on their laurels, and despite the punch in the gut they just received, they began the first half of extra time well. They pressed forward, creating chance after chance. With 5 minutes gone, Bobby Charlton struck the post and sent another just wide. Then, with 11 minutes of extra time gone, Alan Ball put in a cross. Geoff Hurst swiveled and shot from close range. The ball hit the underside of the crossbar, bounced down and was cleared. Confusion ensued. The referee, Gottfried Dinst, was uncertain if it had been a goal and had to consult his linesman, who indicated that it was. The Swiss referee awarded the goal to the home team. Advantage back to England. 1 minute before the end of play, the West Germans set their defenders forward in a desperate attempt to score a last-minute equaliser. Amongst the chaos, Moore won the ball off the edge of a loose West Germany pass and picked out the unmarked Jeff Hurst with a long pass. Hurst carried the ball forward a while some spectators began to flood the pitch and proceeded to rifle the ball into the top corner to secure the win and his hat-trick. Hurst later admitted that the blistering shot was just as much intended to send the ball as far away from Wembley Stadium as possible in order to kill time. The final goal gave rise to one of the most famous calls in English football history, when BBC commentator Kenneth Wolfenstone described the situation. And here it comes, Hurst. He's got some people on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4. After climbing Wembley's 39 steps to heaven to cement his place in football folklore, Bobby Moore, the perfect gentleman, wiped his battle-worn hands clean on the velvet drape of the royal box before shaking hands with the Queen and holding the Jules Rimet trophy aloft in front of 97,000 delirious fans and the 400 million more watching from around the world. England had done it. They had won.